I was driving from Phoenix to Denver by myself when this happened. It was supposed to be a 2-day drive, but I got tired earlier than expected and pulled off the highway somewhere in northern New Mexico. I found a cheap motel with a blinking sign that said vacancy and decided it was good enough for one night. The guy at the front desk barely looked at me. He gave me a key card for room 214 and told me checkout was at 11. The room smelled like old carpet and cigarettes, but I was too tired to care. I locked the door, put the chain on, and took a shower. When I came out, there was a folded piece of paper on the floor near the door. At first, I thought it was a receipt that had slid under, but when I picked it up, there were only 4 words written on it. "Don't sleep in there." I stared at it for a long time. I checked the hallway through the peephole, but nobody was there. I called the front desk and told the man someone had slipped a note under my door. He sounded annoyed and said, "Probably kids messing around." But there were no kids at that motel. I hadn't seen anyone except 2 truckers smoking near the stairs. I tried to calm myself down. I packed my bag just in case, then sat on the bed with the TV on low. Around 1:30 in the morning, I heard a soft click. The door handle moved. Then the key card reader beeped. Green light. Someone opened the door, but the chain caught it. I jumped off the bed and yelled, "Wrong room." The person outside didn't say anything. They just pushed the door again. Harder. The chain stretched and the door slammed against it. I grabbed my keys, my bag, and my phone and ran into the bathroom because it was the only door with a lock. I called 911 while the person kept pushing on the motel room door. Then it stopped. A few seconds later, my phone rang. It was the front desk. I answered without speaking. The man said, "Ma'am, are you alone in the room?" I said yes. He paused, then said, "Stay where you are, police are coming." That scared me more than anything. The police arrived about 10 minutes later. They found nobody outside my room, but they did find something strange. The electronic lock showed that a master key had been used. The front desk clerk swore he hadn't opened my door. Later, one of the officers told me another guest had complained the week before about someone entering their room at night. The motel had blamed it on a faulty lock. I left before sunrise and slept in my car at a gas station instead. I still don't know who left the note, but whoever it was, I think they saved me.
This happened at a roadside motel outside Knoxville, Tennessee. My boyfriend and I were driving back from visiting his family, and we stopped for the night because it was raining so hard we could barely see the road. The motel was old, one of those 2-story places with outdoor hallways and doors facing the parking lot. Our room was on the first floor, near the vending machines. Around midnight, my boyfriend fell asleep, but I was still awake watching TV. I decided to get ice for the cooler, so I grabbed the bucket and stepped outside. The ice machine room was just around the corner. It had a buzzing fluorescent light and one dirty window facing the parking lot. When I walked in, there was a man standing by the vending machine. He wasn't buying anything. He was just standing there, facing the wall. I said, "Sorry," because I thought I had interrupted him. He didn't answer. I filled the bucket as fast as I could. The whole time, I could feel him behind me. Then he said, "You're in 106, right?" I froze. Our room was 106. I didn't turn around. I just said, "No." He laughed quietly and said, "Yeah, you are." I grabbed the ice bucket and walked out as calmly as I could, but the second I got around the corner, I ran. When I got back to the room, I locked the door and woke my boyfriend up. He thought I was overreacting until we heard footsteps stop right outside our room. Then someone knocked. Not loudly. Just 2 light knocks. My boyfriend looked through the peephole and immediately backed away. He whispered, "It's him." The man stood outside our door for almost 5 minutes. Then he bent down and slid something under the door. It was one of those motel key card sleeves. Written on it in pen was, "Wrong answer." We called the front desk. No one picked up. So we called the police. By the time officers arrived, the man was gone. But they checked the security footage from the lobby the next morning. He had never checked into the motel. He had walked onto the property from behind the building and spent over an hour wandering the halls, looking into windows. The scariest part was what the officer told us before we left. He said the man had probably seen me walk into the room earlier. That was how he knew our room number. Ever since then, whenever I stay at a motel, I close the curtains before I even bring my bags inside.
I was 19 when I took my first solo road trip. I drove from Ohio to Florida to visit a friend for spring break. On the way back, I stopped at a motel in Georgia because I was exhausted and didn't want to drive through the night. The woman at the front desk was nice. She gave me a room near the back of the property and told me it was quieter there. That was true. Too quiet. My room faced a small wooded area behind the motel. There were no other cars parked nearby, which made me uncomfortable, but I told myself I was being paranoid. I locked the door, put a chair under the handle, and went to sleep with the TV on. At 3:12 a.m., I woke up to knocking. 3 slow knocks. I didn't move. A man's voice said, "Housekeeping." That made no sense. I waited. He knocked again. "Housekeeping." I grabbed my phone and checked the time again, hoping I had somehow misread it. 3:13 a.m. I said nothing. Then the voice changed. He said my first name. Not loudly. Not angrily. Just calmly. "Emily." My blood went cold. I hadn't told anyone at the motel my first name except the front desk clerk. It was on my ID and my credit card. The man outside tried the handle. The chair moved slightly but held. I called 911 and whispered what was happening. The dispatcher told me to stay away from the door. The man knocked one more time. Then he said, "Check out." After that, I heard him walk away. When the police came, they didn't find anyone. The front desk clerk said no staff had gone to my room, and housekeeping didn't start until 9 a.m. But when I checked out early that morning, the woman at the desk looked genuinely scared. She asked me if the man had said anything else. I told her about him saying my name. She went quiet. Then she admitted something I still think about. She said a man had come into the lobby around midnight asking if his daughter had checked in. He described me, my car, and said he was worried about me. She told him she couldn't give out room numbers. But I don't think she believed him. And somehow, he still found my room. I drove straight home after that. No more motels on that trip. No more solo night check-ins. And every time someone knocks on a hotel door now, I don't answer unless I called for them first.